in this day and age, people want instant gratification. They want instant reward. They want to see, set up a TikTok channel, and if they're not trending in an hour, they're like, fucking, I'm closing it down. It's no good. No one loves me. You know, might put a post up and it don't get, you know, a few thousand likes. Oh, I'm not fucking trending. Game over. But it's a long process.
Yeah.
It's a long process, and you know, the more energy you put into it, the more chance it's got better of succeeding.
It feels like there's some point there's going to be a transition like period, because I guess you're thinking you've only got so much time left.
I'm probably 2 years overdrawn, to be honest with you.
Welcome to Rocket Pod, and this is our first sports edition. And introduce the two-time world boxing champion, Josh Warrington.
How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I've seen you, interviewed you many a time, but never quite in this environment.
Yeah.
It's a different one for us, isn't it?
It is.
And James Cuss, the founder of Rocket Pod, is with us.
Welcome, Josh.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
No, thank you for having me. It's an honour to be here on this lovely sunny day in London.
Yeah, it's a bit warm, isn't it?
Just a bit.
Is it like this in Leeds?
I'm hoping so. Going back up tonight, so yeah, I'm hoping so. Like, but
Good man. It's good to see you, and it's such a relaxed environment as well. It makes a nice change. We're normally in a boxing gym or something, aren't we, or mix zone or something like that.
Yeah, it's normally talking about a fight and pressure's on. Questions getting bombarded about who you're fighting, or you know, game plans and selling tickets. So it's nice to have a nice relaxed one.
Well, we've spent a lot of this week talking about Fighting for a City and the film that you made.
Yes.
Which told a lot about your life story and your motivation and the way you came into boxing and the life you lead, and even delivering tickets still. Are you still doing stuff like that?
Yes, we still do some. I mean, it's crazy really, because you look at the level that we are at the top level. Now, that in comparison would be Andy Middy walking around streets and selling tickets for Wimbledon. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't do as many as we used to do, but for myself, it keeps me grounded. I like to have my ear to the ground.
Yeah.
So like what the supporters are looking forward to, I hate calling them my fans, because some of them they've become real close friends and mates, and but yeah, a lot of people who've been coming since the small old days, the leisure centres, you know, when they first got to Leeds Arena, they've been there through thick and thin. Long before people ever thought I was going to be world champion. When people thought, he'd be lucky to get British down line, they were like, nah, he's going to go, where's our Josh? So, you know, I still do bits and bats. I mean, for instance, at the Henley fight we had the Lara too, I think personally we did just shot 4,000 tickets. And I think that's more than some League Two football clubs do.
Absolutely.
And that's
incredible.
me, my missus, and a couple of my pals, you know, from my office at home, and you know, dishing out there. But like I said, there's that personal touch that I have. I go around to someone's house and they'll have a cup of tea, and they might invite some neighbours round. Come on, Josh, tell us how's training going then. Is it going well?
Yeah.
But it's humbling. It's very humbling.
Yeah.
So and plus, I don't want to have my supporters. I don't want them to have the pants pulled down on box office fees.
And
Like
all the charges.
You buy a ringside ticket, which could be a couple of £100, and then there's 15-20 quid stuck on top of that. It's like, nah, it's not happening.
Don't need that.
Yeah.
Don't need that.
Yeah.
So for anyone watching or listening who doesn't know Josh, it's unheard of at world level, I would say, to go around dropping off tickets, going around people's houses. But everyone in Leeds knows you. People in Leeds support Leeds United, support Leeds Rhinos, support Yorkshire Cricket, and support Josh Warrington, don't they?
Yeah.
They're the big gloves.
Yeah.
It's such a sporting city.
And listen, I'm very honoured to have, you know, even for you to say that. You know, from a young lad, always been proud of where I came from. Used to pick up Evening Post, you know, like our newspaper, regional newspaper, like 8, 9, 10 years old. Looks like they're not going to build the tram infrastructure. Dad, they're not going to build the tram. Just,
another dream gone.
And look, at times, like Leeds United were flying high in the Premier League. We were in Champions League when I was a young boy. Rhinos, you know, on a good wave. But you never see anything about boxing. You'd never see anything about boxing. Used to pick up the boxing news when I was a young lad, and you'd see northern cities, Manchester, Liverpool, Sheffield. You'd never see Leeds in there.
Yeah.
And I think this is a big city. You know, I'm clever enough to know that this is demographically a big city in the North England. Why are we not producing the talent There's enough people. There's enough youngsters. Why are we not doing it? And all I wanted to do from a young age is try at least put Leeds on the map in a bit. You know, like I say, you'd watch boxing coming through. You see Ricky Hatton. You see fighters from Liverpool. You'd see Nas from Sheffield. You know, cameras going around. We're here down at Sheffield today, and we're going to look at where Nas grew up, why the boxing community is so thriving around here. Same in Manchester, like I say, but you never have it in Leeds. Like, you know, we had little batches here and there with Henry Wharton, which were a little bit before my time. Then Carl Johansson, Crawford Ashley. We never really took off, but you know, I was always wanting to just put Leeds on mapping into some extent. And I have a mural in the city now, under one of the flyovers, and there's a picture of myself there, and the quote that's outside of it just says, "I just wanted to put Leeds on the map," and that's what I meant. You know?
That's what you did. That's what you've done. Yeah. Do you think about how you can keep Leeds on the map one day when you've kind of hung up your gloves as well? Like, is there anything you can do to kind of keep the focus?
Just give back. Give back to the younger generation to show that I wasn't the most talented. I didn't come from a wealthy background. I didn't talk bollocks and shite in press conference to get myself viewers. Just I was myself, and I've been myself all through my career. Yeah. And all I've done is just train hard. That's it. Just train hard. I was growing up on a council estate where, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12, you know, getting to the high school stage, you know, teenage lads to start to experiment because there's fuck all else to do. So, you know, come on, lads, try a bit of that. Yeah, for sure. Josh's boxes done it. Josh boxes, yeah. Josh don't get box home. Josh runs home. Josh is boxing. By the time, probably thinking, fucking boring. It's boring. You know, he's running home. He's doing this boxing. Where's he gonna go, really? But my mindset was, I want more than this. I don't just want it to be there. You know, you're probably gonna live here, die here in the same positions. You know, surely there's a bit more than this.
You had a vision.
Yes.
Yeah. You wanted to chase. You're kind of. It feels like there's some point there's going to be a transition period, because I guess you're thinking you've only got so much time left in the sport. You're probably counting how many fights left.
I keep getting told that. Yeah. I keep getting told that. Yeah. You're getting older now. You're getting older.
Oh, we love it, don't we? When someone's over 30 in British sport.
That's it, yeah.
We love it. So what is your thoughts on that? Like, what's your thoughts on a transition, on the next few years, and that sort of thing?
I'm probably 2 years overdrawn, to be honest with you. I did, honestly. You've got to have a game plan. Obviously, it's a very, very tough sport, and it takes a lot of you. It's demanded. You know, it'll change my bodies in many years. I'll know about it. But with that being said, I've done things that people can only dream of. You know, and even myself dream of, and I've done all right with it financially. You know, maybe family in a very good position. I've been able to help people around me. My old fella's my trainer as well. You know, I've been able to help my close families. So it's one of them where you've got to balance up. But I had it in my head that when I turned 27, I want world title. I had twin girls, and I said to my missus that I'll be done at 30. I'll retire at 30 because you know, at the time I defended my title against Carlframpton. Then I had another year mandatory defence, Kigallard, then another defence. And like, right, I just re-signed with Matchroom. Plan was unify, go to America, potentially become 2weight world champion. And I had like a gap of a few years before I could, before I turned 31. So I thought, like, you know, on my terms, then it's on my terms. And mentally, it scares the shite out of me because it's all I've ever done since I was 7 or 8 years old. I've always boxed. I've done nothing but box, and everything's structured. All my life's been structured around it. Even selfishly, my missus, she was a chef for Raymond Blanc, Brasserie Blanc restaurant, and her career could have really took off in that. She could have been like head chef, but I selfishly said, "Listen, we want to go forward. We want to go forward together. So you know, you either do that or you just come with me." And that's the way it's been. So you know, like I say, I thought like at 30 that'd be it, but yeah, just where the pandemic happened, and you know, then I've had a little bit slap ups in between that pandemic. So, but I still feel like I'm in prime. You know, I mentally, I feel good, and physically, I feel like I'm stronger than ever I've been. So, let's keep on. I keep on saying to my manager and to Mrs. like, one more. That one more to like 7 or 8.
You're at that stage. Yeah. Is it frustrating to not get the fights you want when you want them sometimes and be waiting around?
Well, you think when you get to this stage that you shouldn't have to be waiting almost 10 months before you're fighting. It's boxing. You look at a spot like UFC where they're constantly just matched up and stay active. But I've seen over the years that you can go a bit quiet, and especially even this day and age, over the last few years, things are out for a month, and if you're not relevant again, then you're soon forgot about, and the next thing comes along and it's a quick conveyor belt. So the best thing to do is just stay busy, as many fights you can. And listen, I probably speak for most boxers. Most fighters would like to be out 3, 4, 5 times a year, but obviously it's the bits in between, organising fights, politics, selling shows, and everything else that goes on in between.
Yeah, I was going to say, one thing that I find incredibly inspiring about your story is that you managed to capture the imagination of your city, your fans,
yes.
And it likely it started in small gyms and leisure centres, and but to actually carry your fans or carry everyone's aligned for your dream, and it's almost like you started your community or your fan base before you were ready to go up to the big leagues. And I find that one man can make such a difference and inspire so many, but also prove everyone wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible. And I've just learning about your story. I'm interested to know how do you balance the bloodthirst of the fans wanting you to have the next fight, you getting ready physically to take on the next level. Then you've got the commercial, making the money pressures, and then you've got a family, and you've got two lovely twin girls. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you balance it all, and how do you do it? I mean, that's like, and you're still doing the tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
I think you're quite rare from what I can see.
Yeah.
I'm not in the industry. But,
Yeah.
can you talk about how do you balance it all? And
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's not easy. It's not been easy coming through. And I turned pro at 18, and I didn't come from like an amateur, a brilliant amateur background. So if you're an Olympian, you turn over, you normally get signed up by a big promoter. You have sponsors all over your shorts. You like a F1 driver with all sponsors all over yourself, and you're straight into big money. Not when you come over with nothing. Yeah. With like no really credentials. You're fighting in the leisure centres and things like that. I'm good for time, guys. Good for time, yeah.
You're 5 minutes.
Right, okay. So you're a bit bottom, and I understood that boxing was a business, and you need people to come and purchase tickets to make you a little bit more relevant. And this is back in like 2009, so before really Facebook were really busy, before Twitter, and certainly no TikToks or Instagrams or anything like that, so way to do it, face to face, selling yourself, getting about, going around to the pubs, getting people to believe in your dream as well. Right. Do you used to like boxing? Yeah, I used to like watching Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank back in the day. Well, I'm a Leeds lad. This is me. Show them a few pictures on phone and stuff, and I just want to put Leeds on map. I want to, inspire the next generation. I want kids to say, hey, Josh did that, so I can do that. I come from similar backgrounds from him, and mate, tough. Because at one point, I was studying at Leeds University, because not many people know I used to work as a dental technician. Really? So I was a dental technician 4 days a week. I studied 1 day a week at Leeds Dental Institute, Leeds University, trying to have a relationship with my now wife, Natasha, trying to be a young 21-year-old lad, just like keep your friends' social circle, and train on top of that, and promote yourself. Mate, there were times when I thought, I can't do this. Yeah. I can't do this. Yeah. There were times when, I'd get home from the gym with black eyes and know that I've got, in a few hours' time, I'll be getting out of bed again. I'm going for a run in the morning, then going to work, and you think, bloody hell, by the time I get back to bed tonight, it seems a million miles away. But you have to keep on going. You just have to keep on going. And one thing that I'd learned from being a young lad was, as an amateur, I'd used to get out the ring, and I've told this story many times, but a lot of people used to say, hey, young'un, come here. come here. So fighting amateur gyms up and down, in working men's clubs up and down the country as an amateur. And this were times when people smoke and, you know, drink pints and that. And come over. Hey, young, come here. You did well then, pal. Put the arm around you and say, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Because if I had my time again, I'd be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I hear that constantly. Yeah. And I say to my own fella, Dad, I've heard it again tonight. What do they mean by it? I don't understand. I said, you don't understand it because you're only young. Yeah. But before you know it, you'll be 18. Yeah. As soon as you can do that and do whatever, you might fuck the boxing off. And that's where you start enjoying yourself. But before you know it then, you're not 18 no more. You're knocking down 30 and you've pissed everything that all the opportunities you had in front of you, whether it be football, rugby, bit of boxing, to lose it. So that was kind of like my mentality. I don't want to lose it.
So is there any bit of advice you would give to your young self or to those youngsters out there that are?
Well, obviously for myself, I was, you know, proud of all being able to keep the mindset and the mentality. But, you know, in this day and age, people want instant gratification. They want instant reward. They want to set up a TikTok channel, and if they're not trending in an hour, like, fucking, I'm closing it down. It's no good. No one loves me. You know, might put a post up and it don't get, you know, a few thousand likes. Oh, I'm not fucking trending. Game over. But it's a long process. Yeah. It's a long process, and, you know, the more energy you put into it, the more chance it's got better of succeeding.
Do you know, your dad, Sean, is obviously still your coach now. He's got you to world titles, all sorts of things. There must have been times when people were saying, no, go with this coach, go with that coach, and trying to switch things up for you because, you know, like they see your dad coming in from, you know, the local club and everything else. And, you know, it's a bit of a different way you worked, wasn't it, all the way up? But that's paid off, hasn't it? The two of you have been that duo all the way up.
Simplify things. I mean, like, you know, Dorman, not a massive boxing background, maybe done a few unlicensed fight when he was a Dorman, that's about it. Right. But like, he became my amateur coach around 13, 14, and then progressed. And then before I turned pro, he turned pro about 2 years beforehand to build his own experience up. He wasn't afraid to pick up the phone and ask questions. He wasn't afraid to go over and say, what do you think about this? And ask other people's opinions. The thing is about the boxing game, a lot of people are too proud. Yeah. Too proud of reputation to ask. But now he wasn't afraid to do so. And like, I'd have it all the time. Yeah, listen, you're doing all right, but if you want to go to the next step, you need to get rid of your dad. Yeah. Why? Well, you haven't fucking boxed, has he? Yeah. Well, neither has Joe Calzaghe's dad, but took him all the way to the top.
Right. It was the same with Jess Ennis in Sheffield and her coach.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Always trying to move her.
You hear it all the time, but he's learned, I've learned, we've grown together. And there was a time at the stage where I thought, what the hell? And these people start getting through to you because you're hearing a lot. But the moment in one gym, I think I went in a gym in Huddersfield, and there was a bit of instruction being given to one of the fighters, and then my dad gave his piece. I'm like, you know what? What he said there to him don't make sense, but how my dad just said it makes a lot of sense. And the fighter in the ring at the time, I can't remember it, came on with, yeah, I understand that, Sean. And he kind of like simplified it.
It's gut instinct. It's just intuitively that was the right path.
You know how to be on that same. Sometimes the coaches want to look perfect themselves, so they've got like an equation on a blackboard, but you've only got like a certain amount of time in between the rounds, and a lot of fighters, as you know, only have a certain attention span and like I don't know, academic level and whatever, so you can only take in so much whilst you're in there and thick of it and blowing and stuff like that. So, you know, he's always been able to just simplify it, and it's always, the game plans have always been bang on.
Brilliant, Josh. I think that's all we've got time for here. Yeah, we've got vacate here too.
Yeah, hard stop.
Yeah. So we can do a bit more like out on the street.
Yeah, we could give it a go.
Walk just to walk around for 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
It's great to meet you, by the way.
No, pleasure.
Really good to see you.
Thank you.
It's really good. I've been up for a couple of fights. It's the craziest atmospheres up in Leeds, mate.
Yeah,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Love to come up. Well, but perhaps, I mean, we've got obviously not a lot of time today. Maybe we'll come up to Leeds and continue it.
Yeah, most definitely. If you wanted to do that, I've got my gym whenever you wanted to.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And actually, we do have another fighter in the ranks. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Harry over there. He's at London Film Academy, just starting out. So
that's how we've gotten all this stuff.
Yeah.
Really swindles.
Right.
But I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for like 4 years now, and
nice.
My brother's huge for boxing and stuff, so he was. Yeah. Well, I told him yesterday that we was interviewing you, and he was like, "How the fuck have you done that?" I was like,
At the moment, I'm going through a bit of a transition work-wise, and I know you've obviously got a few thoughts about the future and sort of what happens when you hang up your gloves. Like, would you move into coaching? There's even thoughts maybe like a boxing union and stuff like that to support boxers in the future. Would you get involved in anything like that? What are you thinking?
Got ideas to do a lot of things. I think one of the first things is you need to fill that void. You need to fill that void. I ask many sports people, and I've asked many sports people, because I know that it doesn't last forever, and like I said, it absolutely petrifies me. It scares me because all my life has been shaped around it, and that buzz and the adrenaline rush and the things that you build towards, it's just going to stop. It's going to come to a stop at one point, and when that day comes, like I say, I'll be scared, but I also at the same time want to do it on my terms. Now, I'd love to give back in one way, shape or form, whether that be in coaching, amateur level, professional level, managing maybe, try talk or give advice to fighters, not to go on some of the routes that I have seen fighters do. But I also have other ideas for different businesses, like I say, I've been selfish in the past, and my wife Natasha she's an adventurous person as well.
Yeah.
So she'll have ideas and things that she wants to do, and she'd like to be my own gaffer and carry on on. And
yes.
It's ever changing world. You need to make sure that the bills are paid.
Yeah.
As long as I can do that, I'm not all about being flashy.
Yeah.
Just being able to bills are paid and enjoy life, and I'm happy with that, mate.
You said you wanted to give back, and we chatted a minute ago. Give back to your city, or you're already doing a lot for your city with what you're doing. You're capturing the imagination of your fans, that they can do anything they put their mind to.
Yeah.
Do you think that might factor into what you do next?
Yeah, definitely. In between fights, we try time for like charity work. Go around gyms, speak to young fighters. Just try to give them that bit of advice. Like, I see a lot of talented amateur boxers who a lot more naturally talented than I was when I was a kid, but may not have the right people around them. And just sometimes it just needs that bit of advice. Listen, lads, you're on a right path. Just stick at it. There's distractions that will come, and you need to knock them on the head, or not let them lead you away. Simple advice like that, and just taking the time to just have 10 minutes with somebody. But yeah, just try to do that as many times as possible.
So Josh, you've got plenty of ideas about the future. What does the kind of short term look like for you? How many fights would you like to get in, and how close is sort of Leigh Wood now?
I'll answer your that question there. The Leigh Wood fight is very close. I've more or less agreed my terms now. Sometimes I look at myself, bloody hell, you should be more of a diva. She could demand more of this and be a bit more arrogant, but at the same time, I've been out ring for 7 months already, and it's a long time, and I just want to be back as soon as possible. So yeah, I've agreed my terms, so the final bits have got to be done, venues and things like that. And as for the former, well, I'm already overdrawn, like I say, but then again, I don't feel like I want to stop anytime soon. I still get a buzz when I walk into the gym. I still like being around lads and training. I still get a buzz for putting my trainers on, going for a run. I still like doing all this stuff and the build up to the fight. So some people say that it'll never go, and I'll take, for instance, I remember speaking to AP McCoy, the multiple champion jockey, and asking him, does it ever go? And him looking into the distance, like, I've just asked him a really stupid question, and like, it never goes, and that again, it petrifies me a bit. But if I can take my energy into, I don't know, maybe training or into a business when I am finished, then I'm sure I'll be successful at that.
Absolutely.
You can keep the momentum going into what
exactly.
You have to believe.
Yes, you have to do that, and I say it's. I should have been satisfied winning a world title at Ellen Road. That would be beyond dreams for me. All I ever wanted to do when I first turned professional was win the Lord Lonsdale belt, the British title, and be able to put an house deposit down. That's it. That's all I ever wanted. If we're able to get a car, then wow, we're pushing the boat out there. But I've gone well beyond that, and winning the world title as a 5-1 underdog back in 2018. Well, that would should have been something like, right, you've done it now. But I remember putting the world title down and thinking, what's next? Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. Not everybody has it, do they? But
where do you think Leigh Wood lands? And they're talking about Sheffield or Manchester, maybe, aren't they, for that? And how far off is that in your eyes? Do you think?
I think some of the venues have been mentioned. Obviously, they can't do the City Ground because the last thing they want after spending £5 million on a pitch is a load of boxing fans trashing it. Not like they do it purposely, but it's a lot of footfall on the pitch. So arenas, but I believe that Peter Kay is booked out every day or every weekend up until Christmas.
You've been undone by Peter Kay?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, he's demand, and obviously there's London, but they've been talking about neutral venues. Sheffield is one because it's one in between us both. Obviously there's Nottingham, which I won't mind going to his backyard, and obviously there's Leeds. So I think they've just got to get the logistics right and get the dates right and go from there.
And if you beat Wood, do you think next year could be Vegas? I know we've spoken many times in the past about taking your boys and girls out to Vegas.
Yes.
For the big trip, the trip of a lifetime, the career kind of high over there.
Yes.
Do you think that can actually happen now next year? Could it be close?
Well, when I beat Wood.
Yeah, exactly.
When I beat Wood. Listen, I don't see why not. I think I've been unlucky with, like I say, COVID. Yeah. And I think there's been moments like if I'd got through Lopez and I got my arm raised against that fight, then I think I'd have been there already. But when I sit down with like the matchroom team and say what's next, like for after going forward, there's no reason why they can't take me. As I say, some heavyweights go over, then being an heavyweight is sexy, isn't it? It's like it's a thing to go to an heavyweight event, but my support are cult. Yeah. Like some of them are like family to me now. Yeah. They've been coming that long, and they've been there, like I said earlier, from day one. So they want to see it out there, and some of them get emotional talking about it. They say, "Listen, I've already pictured it. Me and Al Hass." I've talked about visualization many times. Maybe that's rubbed off onto them. So I've already pictured it. Me and Al Hass on the Sunday. We'd be out there on the Tuesday for the press conferences and then for the weigh-in and then the fight, and then on the Sunday we'd be there celebrating with you, Josh, and we'd say, wow, what a journey it's been from the leisure centres to town halls to where you are now. You've headlights up in Vegas or New York or wherever it is. So, it's not even really for myself because I won't see it. Yeah. I'm just fighting. Yeah. But it'd be for them to have the memories, and 10 years down the line, hey, yeah. Do you remember going to watch Warrington? Oh yeah, bloody hell, what a night! And reminiscing on stories, and then, hey, Ewan, you could be like Warrington one day. He took us all the way to Vegas. If you keep on boxing, and all of a sudden that energy spreads, doesn't it? It inspires others.
Absolutely. I was actually wondering when I chatted to Sally Gunnell a while ago. She was saying it was 70% mental and 30% physical because she was up against stronger, fitter people. Yeah. The role of your fans, that energy, yeah, and the fact that they've kind of carried you through from the beginning.
Yes.
Is there any ratio, or what would you say? I mean, it's obviously clearly important that you all have the belief, everyone's aligned for the same outcome. Can you put that into words? I mean, what does it feel like to having the,
So I've got to say again, one of the reasons why I've enjoyed doing the tickets over the years, even though you're saying earlier days you're spending so much money in petrol and diesel going all over the place. Yeah. When people are saying, Josh, this is, only night we're going out this month, but it's going to be worth it. When you hear stuff like that, and that people, maybe strapped for cash, but they're putting all their money, and the only moment they go out that month is for you. Yeah. It's like, yeah. I'm looking down. I've got to make it worth it. I've got to make it worth it. And then when you're in the ring, obviously you've got to be focused. The horse blinkers are on. Normally, really, you only hear me, Dad, but there's been moments in fights where I've backed off. And I've been, maybe come out of the vision a little bit, and I just heard the noise, and then people, come on, Josh, and it's just, oh man, it's another energy. Yeah, it's just hard to explain. Yeah, just one moment I always go back to is Ellen Road. I'd been written off by all the boxing public. No one believed I could beat Lee Selby. Like I said, almost 5-1 underdog. But those in Ellen Road that day, They all believed. They all believed, and they'd argue with anybody up and down the country. Hey, Josh is going to win. Josh is going to win. Believe. And the energy inside that stadium, just I fed off it.
That's an incredible fight. I mean, I watched it. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your reaction at the end, I mean, that said it all, really.
Again, you have to see it, because you know it's funny, because like 24 hours before, and we've gone down to Ellen Road, and I like to just get a feeling of the venue, see the change rooms and that. I've been down Ellen Road many years as a fan of Leeds United, but I remember going down there and getting in the ring and having a little bit of shadow box, and then kind of like getting down on my knees and going, "I'm the new." 24 hours later, I'd done the exact same thing, so power of the mind, isn't it? Power of the mind.
Do you think, like, I read you feel like you've been a bit discredited for the Leigh Wood fight? Do you think that people were writing you off again?
Yeah.
You almost thrive on that.
Yeah, definitely. I've always seemed to perform better when I am the underdog. People tell me I can't, and I'll show you that I can. It's that kind of mentality. You're not going to be British champion, you're not going to be European champion. But that just people say, "Oh, Josh has seen better days, had a good career," and that. Man, it just makes me train even harder. Yeah.
Part of the drug, probably. It's like,
it is. I think, like I say, I think I've had that since I was a kid. When boring you, Josh. Why? Because you're not smoking a spliff with you guys. Now you're boring. You're like, well, make it worth it. Make it work, and that's kind of thing there. Just mentality. When you say I can't do something, then I want to prove that I can.
It's choices, isn't it? It's almost like the things that are easy to do but easy not to do.
Yeah.
And those little choices in the moment, they just make such a difference. They compound over time.
Yeah,
and I was also wondering, as a young man, you had to make choices. You couldn't maybe stay up late with your mates having beers, because you had to be in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever your regime was.
Well, I've got another story there where I've told this story a few times when I'm doing talks and stuff, where a young lad I was dropping tickets off, I went to school with. Now, bear in mind, we're 21 years old here. 21 years old, most men full of testosterone. All they're thinking about is going out, having a good time with lads, trying to get a new bird, and that's it. Go home, think about work on the Monday morning. Yep. And I remember at the time, like I say, I was studying, training, working, trying to have a relationship, trying to build myself, and I felt like I was crumbling. And I remember stopping and seeing him, and he was getting some tickets off me, and I think I was fighting a few weeks later, and we had a chat, and he said, "You seem a bit flat, Josh. You seem a bit flat." And I said, "I'm just pressuring that, I'm tired. I'm like missing everything really. Like you guys, you're all going out to parties and that. And like that party this weekend." He went, "Josh, so what?" He said, "What does it matter?" Yep. I said, "Yeah, I know, but like everyone's going out, and I'm seeing all lads and that for ages, and I feel like I'm missing out." He went, "You aren't missing out." He said, "Josh, since 18, some of us 17 when we could get into bars early." He said, "Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's all we've done for years. For 3 years, he's done the same thing. Just drinking. But not everyone's been able to have the same mindset that you have. Everyone's proud of you, mate. And you know what? At the time, it gave them a massive boost and they kick up the backside that I needed."
Right.
And
to get you back on.
yeah, and that later that year, I graduated from uni. I won English title, and then things just skyrocketed from there. So, thank you very much, Ben.
Well, we can't get you all the way.
Yeah.
It's all right. Can't get you all the way down to London without asking you about football, Josh. We've already had a little bit of spar about Millwall Leeds next season in the Championship. So, Leeds relegation.
Yeah.
And now the appointment of Daniel Farker as manager. Do you think it's the right appointment, and do you think they can bounce back up? You optimistic for the new season?
Yeah, I am. Last week, without him there, then things looking a bit worrying, because you don't know who's going to be part of it. You don't know what he's going to look at. Obviously, time's ticking on. Most clubs have got the teams back in there, preparing for the new season ahead. But now Farker's come in, proven manager.
Yeah.
Done it with Norwich before. He's had promotions in other leagues. So yeah, I'm very optimistic, very positive, and I can see us bouncing straight back up.
Like it. I like the optimism. Are you still involved with the supporters association?
Yeah, I was. Yes. Still, yeah. I was meant to be down last weekend, but I had some training, so I couldn't make it there. But yeah, still keep my tabs there.
Fantastic. What did you make of the end of last season? It was chaotic, wasn't it? Allardyce coming in for 4 games. Like, was that just really hard to go through as a fan?
Yeah, I think it was just like a bit desperation. Like, oh, we've been here before. This looks all a bit too familiar, you know. People just coming in for the sake of it. But I think the cracks were in the wall well before Allardyce had come in. You know, even before Javi Gracia came in as well. I think Marsh probably were there a little bit too long. A little bit too long. And you know that Bielsa mentality never really got replaced. So yeah, it wasn't the best of the season last season, but start again, don't we?
Start again. We start again. Josh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being on Rocket Pod.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Good to see you.